To Philly Sports Unfiltered. Guys, today we are talking about B-Ball Paul Reed, and I'm going to tell you why I think this man is about to have a breakout season, and I think that he is going to dominate in his role as backup center for your Philadelphia 76ers. So let's jump straight into this. So the first thing I want to do is I want to talk a little bit about B-Ball Paul. I want to talk about what are some of his strengths and what are some of his weaknesses. And then I want to tell you what change has happened in the offseason that I think is going to lead to him having his most dominant season yet and really solidifying himself as the permanent backup center for the 76ers. So let's get into what we know about Paul Reed. Obviously, Paul Reed is a former G League MVP. And over the course of the season last year, he didn't get a lot of run in the early season, but when it came to playoff time, he really sort of solidified himself in that backup center role. Now, what are the things that he does well? We understand that Paul Reed, he has one of those just absolute unmatchable motors. The guy is high energy. He looks like he is just going on a completely different wavelength, attacking things at a different speed than anybody else on the court. That is something you cannot teach, okay? Tremendous motor. We all love it. That motor makes him a tenacious defender. He's all over the court. He's getting deflections. He is in everything on the defensive end of the court. He's also very good at pushing the ball in transition, and he's efficient around the rim because his game is mainly predicated on playing above the rim, pushing the ball in transition, taking it to the hole, dunking over people, catching alley-oops. Like, this is what his game is, and that's why you can see his efficiency rating is actually really high. So he is a very efficient player, shoots about 56% from the field. Now, what are his weaknesses? Because he has such a strong motor and he's a younger, inexperienced player, he gets into foul trouble very easily. He tends to be a little bit, too hectic and doesn't really understand how to control himself yet. Obviously, he is quite a poor shooter at this point in his career. He only shot 25% from three last year and only 42% from the line. This is obviously a huge glaring weakness in his game, and it's something he's going to have to work on as the years go on. But the other weakness, despite being a player that plays above the rim and is sort of known as somebody who's playing out in transition, dunking over people, catching oops, he actually has had a very average vertical leap in the NBA. And this is the thing that I really want to touch on, and it's actually related to why I think he's going to have such a better year this year. So it was very interesting. Paul Reed came out with a tweet on June 30th, and then he followed that up with a guest appearance on the Right to Ricky Sanchez podcast. He said, measured my vertical today. I started at 28 inches. I'm now at 34 inches, just going to keep working until I hit 50. So after he tweeted that, he went on to the Rights of Ricky Sanchez podcast, and they had a really good conversation with him about, what has he been doing this offseason. They talked to him specifically about his vertical, and related to his vertical leap, he said, right now he's already at 34 inches, and him and his trainers, they believe he can get to 40 inches, okay? That would be the addition of 12 inches to his vertical leap by the time the season starts. Okay, we're talking about a guy that plays above the rim. We're talking about a guy that's a tenacious defender. We're talking about somebody we want to see be a better rebounder, a better shot blocker, somebody be better in his strength. Imagine adding a foot to his vertical, okay? You're talking about better rebounding. You're talking about better offensive production. You're talking about greater ability to affect shots. You're talking about greater ability to get your jump shot up more easily. I mean, your vertical in the NBA, it affects every single thing that you do. Now, for those of you guys that don't know, this is something else that he touched on. 28 inches is league average. If you have a 28-inch vertical in the NBA, you're absolutely average, and that's right where Paul Reed was at. Now, all of the best players in the NBA, the stars of the stars, they all have 40-plus inch vertical leaps. And this is the territory that Paul Reed is moving towards. He's already at 34. They think he can get to 40. His goal is 50. But if by the season, if this man can reach 40 inches on his vertical leap, I think his game is going to improve tremendously. I think he's going to be a better rebounder. I think that he's going to be a better and more efficient offensive player. I think he's going to be a better defender because he's going to be able to affect shots. He's going to be able to block shots more easily. He's just going to overall be a problem. Now, on the podcast, Paul Reed also talked about what are some of the other aspects of his game that he's working on, and he's really fully aware of what his weaknesses are. He's aware that, he's super high energy and he had issues with just basketball IQ and understanding how to sort of tame himself and reel himself in and not get himself into foul trouble and just play more intelligently, more smart. So he is working on that. He said he's working on his ball handling. He's working on his shooting. So he is really focused and locked in on his game. He's not only trying to improve his physical tools, he's working on the mental aspect, and he's trying to add skills to his toolkit. He's young, he's hungry, he's high energy, and he knows what his weaknesses are, and he's trying to get better. For me, this spells breakout year for his role. Now, is he going to come in and is he going to be a dominant league MVP? Is he going to be one of the most dominant centers in the league? No. But I think Paul Reed this year is going to come in and he is going to dominate his role as backup center to Joel Embiid. I think he's going to solidify his place on the team. I think he's going to solidify his place in the NBA. And I think we're going to see a much improved Paul Reed this year and for years to come. But what do you guys think? Are you encouraged by this news? Do you think that Paul Reed is going to have a breakout year in his role as backup center? Do you think he's going to solidify his role on the team? Or are you not as bullish on Paul Reed? Would you rather see the Sixers sign a different backup center? Let me know in the comment section below. Be interested to see how you guys weigh in on this topic. It's all I got for today. I will catch you guys in the next video. Go Sixers.